Back here in Lagos, the Lagos State Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court has sentenced the founder of Irene Christian Ministry, Oluwafeyiropo Daniels, to life imprisonment for raping his 23-year-old assistant pastor, names withheld. Justice Rahman Oshodi also sentenced the defendant to 3 years imprisonment for sexually assaulting another member of his church, aged 19 years. Those terms will run concurrently. Kemi Foladiemo has more.
In count one, Justice Rahman Oshodi said he believed the testimony of the first complainant, as well as other witnesses who gave direct evidence, which weren't contradicted at any point, despite the defendant's denials. But the judge acquitted the defendant of the second count of raping another church member at his home in 2020. The court said the prosecution fails to prove the elements of the use of force, fear of harm by the complainant, and misrepresentation by the defendants to establish guilt beyond all reasonable doubt.
The court cannot, for that Christmas, it cannot dash out judgments, it cannot dash out sentencing. If the court, looking at the value of the evidence before it, has said that the first complainant was a victim, was actually raped by the convict, yes, then the court is right in its wisdom.
This is to send a stern warning to every one of you who think that you can manipulate vulnerable women and girls in the name of the Lord. Survivors will get justice. You will find yourself in a place where you will not be able to escape one day. You can continue to fool everybody, but you will not be able to fool all the people all the time.
A lot of men do these crimes. A lot of pastors, big men, they do this. But it is about the survivors speaking up. So this has emboldened everybody who is a survivor of sexual assault.
Defense counsel Adebayo Adigbite had urged the court to use his discretion in sentencing, but lead prosecutor Babajide Boye asked that he be sentenced as charged. The court said the 43-year-old cleric, who didn't have regard for truth, was a risk to the society and should spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Justice Oshodi said that the cleric Feyi Daniels abused his dominant position to sexually violate two members of his church. The court also held that even though it imposed the maximum sentencing on the convict as directed under the Lagos criminal laws of 2015, it will still not erase the harm that the convict has already wreaked on his victims. Kemi Foladiemo, TVC News, Lagos.
For more on this, a lawyer and human rights activist, Toyin Taiwojo, joins me on the news. Well, thank you for joining us. This judgment is coming just 3 months after a celebrated case of defilement against a medical doctor. What does the judgment portend for the fight against sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria and Lagos in particular?
Thank you for having me. I'm really very glad that this judgment came at a time like this. Like you said, it is 3 months after the Oladeyes case, we're having this judgment back-to-back, celebrated cases. And in all, the survivor is the winner. Because if you look at everything that's been happening, especially our culture of silence and enabling these crimes, you find out that there was little or nothing that pointed to the fact that, oh, these survivors could get justice. But with this, it shows the state's commitment to making sure that Lagos State is not only crime-free, but is a place that women, vulnerable persons, can beat their hands on their chest and say, yes, we are secure, we are safe. Going further, you will have to realize also that it is not just a win, even for just Lagos State. It is a direction that the whole country, would be able to follow, because Lagos State is living what they preach.
As it is, Bishop Daniel still has a right of appeal. What is your expectation?
Well, in this country, and as far as our judiciary is concerned, the Supreme Court remains the apex court. So yes, he has a right to appeal. But looking at the well-detailed judgment that that Justice Oshodi Rahman, gave, this judgment spanned. He's reading the judgment span like 2 hours. We sat down. He gave reasons for why he's arriving at a decision. And you will recall that out of the 4 charges against him, 2 failed. He was only convicted on 2 of those charges. So it shows that it was not as if the honorable judge just arrived at a decision out of the blue. He took his time, went through the evidences. He made mention that the proceedings was even 325 pages that he had to go through before he arrived at the judgment. Yes, Bishop Feyi Daniels has a right to the appellate court, but, well, he can try his luck there. But I do not see the appellate court overturning the decision of the lower court.
A lawyer and human rights activist Toyin Tawojo, thank you for talking to us on TVC News at 10.